I made a video as a part of MrBeast's initiative Team C's, but my video was disliked into oblivion. MrBeast plans to remove about 30 million pounds of trash from the oceans, seas, rivers, etc. Remember that number, 30 million pounds of trash. Later on in this video, I will tell you how eating marine animals is causing even more trash than that to end up in the oceans. And not just a bit more, a lot more. My main point within the original video was that it makes no sense to save marine animals by cleaning the oceans if you're then going to kill some of those very marine animals for your temporary taste pleasure. Anyway, MrBeast fans presumably have left some strong comments on my videos criticizing my video. Let's see if any of them make sense. Okay, so this person says that going vegan would not do anything for the environment as shown by many studies. And of course, they don't link to any studies. Don't worry though, I will cite a proper study. The largest study ever conducted that looked into the relationship between food habits and the environment was carried out by researchers at the University of Oxford. The lead author of that study, the lead author of the paper that came out of the study, Joseph Poore, has said that going vegan is the single biggest positive change that you can do for the environment individually. References are in the description box, and I'll leave citation numbers somewhere around there so that you can check the sources fairly easily. And that stands true for any factual claim that I make within this video. Sources will always be in the description and they will always be numbered at the bottom corner. Further, this person says that MrBeast is doing far more for the environment positively than I am. Even if we accept that, and I'll not accept that because it's not true, we'll get to that later on in this video. But even if we accept that, how is that relevant? Can you not say anything to anyone if that person is doing more positives than you? For example, there are many people who are doing far more to fight racism than I am. If any one of those people were to say something racist or do something racist, could I not point out the double standard that those people have? Not MrBeast, some hypothetical anti-racism activist. Could I not point out the double standard that they have? Of course I could. Similarly, even if MrBeast is doing more to fight pollution than I am, I can still point out when he's gotten something wrong, if he has a double standard somewhere. Also, I want to be very clear here, I'm not saying that MrBeast is racist. That is just an analogy that I'm using here. Now, about the factual claim, is MrBeast doing more positives for the environment than I am? Now, I don't want to make this about how good of a person I am, because honestly, I don't think I am that great. But there is a relevant discussion to be had here, that not everyone on this planet consumes and hence pollutes equally. You see, MrBeast has a net worth of about $15 million. That puts him well above the $873,000 net worth that you need to have to be amongst the top 1% richest people on the planet. I don't have that much. You need about $93,000 of net worth to be amongst the top 10% richest people on the planet. I don't have that much either. But I am fortunate enough to have enough to put me on the sort of upper half of humanity in terms of income. I consider myself extremely fortunate for that matter. So that puts me like right in the very middle, almost in the middle, between the top 10% and like the 50% mark. Now, look at this graph by the United Nations Environmental Program. The top 1% contribute to over 70% of all individual consumption-based CO2 emissions. By contrast, the middle 40% contribute to just 5% of all individual consumption-based CO2 emissions. That's about CO2 emissions. But what about resource use, like raw resource use, like water use, land use, electricity use, and so on. You see, if everyone on the planet lived like the average American, then we would need a total of 5 Earths to sustain such a lifestyle for everyone on the planet. Now, MrBeast is obviously far above the average American. So if everyone lived like him, we would need even more Earths to sustain such a lifestyle. By contrast, if everyone lived like the average person in India, we would need about 0.7 Earths to sustain such a lifestyle for everyone on the planet. And the consumption levels are even lower than that in countries like Rwanda, Bangladesh, and so on. Now, as I said earlier, I don't want to make this about me, but I don't see how someone can claim so confidently, as so many people are claiming, that any ultra-wealthy American, or any American for that matter, could be better for the environment than average people that are living in developing countries. That is an unscientific claim, and the inverse, the opposite, is probably true. Again, I will remind you that all of this only matters, environmentalism only matters, because it reduces animal suffering. I will remind you further that human beings are animals too. So when I say it reduces animal suffering, I'm including human beings in that. I'm including human suffering in that. Again, if you're not convinced by any of these arguments, let me remind you that at the end of this video, I will tell you how eating marine animals causes way more plastic pollution in the oceans. Stick around for that. Which brings us quite nicely onto the next sort of type of comments, which say that, hey, man, this initiative is great, right? Why are you speaking so negatively about it? Why are you shunning it? Just because he's not vegan doesn't mean that he should just stop this initiative altogether. I mean, this initiative, whether or not he's vegan, is going to do a lot of positive change in the world. It is going to remove 30 million pounds from the oceans, rivers, and so on. What's your problem with this initiative? That's the general trend of how the comments go. But I don't have a problem with this initiative. I said that he's gotten it right with this initiative. I said that in the original video. I even linked to the donation site in the description box and told my viewers within the video that the link is there in the description box. So I totally support this initiative. I'm just saying that he's gotten it right here, and he should apply it consistently across all of his actions, and hence go vegan. And with the kind of reach and influence that MrBeast has, right, him going vegan would be huge. Right? He could influence all of his 72 million subscribers on YouTube by going vegan. That would be absolutely huge. By the way, at the time of this recording, the total number of likes and dislikes on the original video is 1,900. For this video, let's try to reach 700 likes plus dislikes. So if you're enjoying this video or finding this video insightful, do be sure to hit that like button. The next type of comment points out that humans don't eat all marine animals. We're cleaning the oceans to save some marine animals, not the marine animals whom we eat. But don't you see, that's the problem. You care about some marine animals so much that you're willing to do extra work to reduce the harm that is being caused to them. But on the other hand, you value the lives and suffering of some other marine animals so little that you're willing to kill them and cause them suffering for simple taste pleasure. Okay, tell me this. What is the trait that is lacking in the marine animals whom you eat that gives them lower moral value than not only the marine animals whom you don't eat, it also gives them lower moral value than your taste pleasure? What is the trait that they lack? If you were to say something like intelligence, well, it would follow from your reasoning, not mine, it would follow from your reasoning that any human being who lacks a certain level of intelligence, like people who are severely mentally disabled, that their lives are worth less than someone else's temporary pleasure, right? But that's an absurd conclusion, right? That's a ridiculous conclusion. Like, we already know that it is incorrect to say that the lives of the severely mentally disabled is worth less than the temporary pleasure of other people. So since we have reached an absurd conclusion, it means that the reasoning used was incorrect. This is what is known in formal logic as reductio ad absurdum. So intelligence cannot be the trait that gives individuals moral worth, right? Because there are individuals whom we value who are not intelligent. They also make the point about ecosystem stability. But ecosystem stability only matters because of the suffering and well-being of the animals, of the sentient animals in those ecosystems. I will remind you again that I am including human beings when I say animals, because humans are indeed animals. Now, there's an entire batch of comments that are telling me that, oh, you cannot force veganism on others, right? It's a personal choice. They're telling me that you should live and let live. That's a great sentiment. But here's the thing. Live and let live only works when you let live. When you're eating the animals, you're literally not letting the animals live. You have literally taken their life away. I am not forcing you to adopt veganism. I'm making arguments to convince you. By contrast, you are forcefully taking away the life of an innocent animal who doesn't want to die. You, non-vegans, are the ones who are doing the forcing. I'm just saying that you should not force your lifestyle literally on these innocent animals. Leave them alone. Now, even though you cannot name a differentiating trait that gives some animals so little moral value that you can take their life away for your taste pleasure, even though you cannot do that, if you still want to maintain the double standard here, you're still out of luck. You see, a lot of plastic in the oceans is fishing gear. About 47% of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is fishing nets and gear. 47% of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is about 37.6 million kilograms of trash. 37.6 million kilograms is about 82 million pounds. 82 million pounds is already more than 2.7 times the amount of trash that Team C's plans to remove. But hold on. This 82 million pounds of fishing gear and nets, which are trash in the ocean, this is just one part of one ocean. What about the entire Pacific Ocean? How much fishing gear and nets exists there? Now think about how much trash is in all the oceans because of fishing. What about all the seas and rivers and lakes and so on? When you put all of that together, right, all of the trash in water bodies that exist because of fishing, that is simply an unfathomably large amount of trash that exists in water bodies simply because of fishing. The conclusion here is simple. Go vegan. Boycott the unnecessary, cruel industries that kill trillions of innocent non-human animals for the temporary taste pleasure of human beings. And as a bonus effect of boycotting these cruel industries, you will be reducing the harm you cause into the environment. And as a consequence of that, you'll be reducing the harm that you cause to wild, non-human animals, as well as human beings. To support my channel and receive exclusive benefits in return, click this link. To support the Team C's initiative, check out the first link in the description box. This is the video that YouTube thinks you'll like the best. This is my most recent video. Do be sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you there.